I'm your Slocum23, joining me for My First Two Loves, Chapter 52, Branching Out. When I had quit cheerleading, I did it to find my own path. I wanted to find something I was passionate about, good at. But as I stood in front of Miss Larson, waiting for her to tell me what she thought my work, I suddenly felt unsure I was on the right track. Miss Larson, please, the suspense is literally killing me. She glanced up at me in confusion and saw the tears prickling my eyes. Oh, Emma, you look so nervous. Please, sit down. You're not in trouble. I asked you to stay behind because I prefer to work one-on-one with the students who show the most promise. What? Really? You're very talented, Emma, and I can tell that you know it. But I think you've become complacent with your work. There are always new steps you can take with art. Okay, so I need to take more risks. Yes, but think of it more of as exploration. You're a young artist. I'd really like to see you experiment and try your hand at new things. That's the only way to truly find your own style and voice. I got it. I won't let you down, Miss Larson. Please understand me, Emma. The most important thing that you're doing is enjoying the journey. And if you put too much pressure on yourself, your art will suffer for it. It's true. As I walked to the parking lot, I still hadn't shaken off Miss Larson's critique. The fact that she had given me advice was proof she'd believed in my potential. And also, I wanted to just be naturally good at photography, to immediately live up to the expectations she had. What's got you so bummed out? I looked up from fiddling with my camera to see Noah leaning against his bike in the parking lot. Photography club. I really wanted my pictures to blow Miss Larson away, but she said I needed to push further, to find my artistic style, whatever that means. Sounds like a good thing to me. She wants you to apply yourself. If I'd applied myself earlier, maybe she'd be more impressed. You're being way too hard on yourself. We're high schoolers. If you had your artistic style figured out, life would be pretty boring. Is that so? Because I really needed to hear that. I get it. You're hard on yourself, I am too, but you can chase what you want without putting yourself down. It's just, it would be a lot easier if I had any idea on what to do. I don't know where to start. Well, that I can help with. I am done with Winter Wonderland for the day. Help in what way? Are you a photographer too now? No, but I am pretty fun to hang out with, and I am full of grand ideas. Like what? There's a place a little further out of town, where the light pollution isn't so bad. Great view of the stars. Oh, you know those long exposure points where the stars get all streaky? Maybe I can do that. Yeah, why not? I bet it'd help get those creative juices flowing. Plus, there's hot cocoa. A pretty decent telescope, and we'd be all alone under the stars. You had me at hot cocoa and stars. Tonight, right? Actually, it should be dark by the time we get there. You ready to go right now? Readier than ever. After texting to let Ava and Mac know I wouldn't be riding home with them, I settled in behind Noah and wrapped my arms around his waist. My future in photography was looking a lot brighter, but I was also just happy to have Noah in my arms. We followed the winding road in the hills outside of town, where the city lights weren't so bright. You're right, the stars are much brighter out here. You can even see the Milky Way if you squint, but it gets better. He led me around the side of the building where I could see a ladder reaching partway up the siding. Are we allowed to be here? I told you. I'm on the straight and narrow. The warehouse belongs to a family friend. They couldn't give you the key to the stairs? You assume there is one. They don't really use this place anymore. It's mostly empty. It's what's on top that matters. Okay, I'll buy it. How are we supposed to do this? Do you trust me? The question took me by surprise. I'd never flat out asked myself if I trusted Noah, and if I could put my life in his hands. But what stunned me was my answer, so easy, so undeniably true, and how quickly I gave it. Of course. And follow me. He raced up the ladder, and while I struggled behind him. Come on, cheer squad, you're gonna let a tiny old ladder slow you down? I quit, remember? You have football conditioning on your side. I haven't been to cheer in months. And this is why folks used to never stop learning and working out. When I finally did reach the ledge at the top, Noah reached out to steady me until my feet were planted firmly beside his. And even then, he didn't let go. The next part is why I went first. We both glanced up on the lip of the roof, a couple of meters from where we stood below. The wind ripped across my hair, and I was suddenly very aware we were 3 stories up and going higher. Okay, grab onto this until I'm ready to pull you up. I wrapped my hand around the bar he'd mentioned to, and before I could say anything, another word, he was scaling the last bit of the wall. In seconds, he was gone. Noah? I'm here. Take my hand. His face reappeared, and his hand reached out into mine. As he pulled me up to the roof, I was struck by how strong he was. He lifted me like it was nothing. Wrapped his arms around me as soon as I was on level ground, and I felt every inch of him holding me close. Well, was it worth it? I glanced around him to the telescope and the scar speckled across the blue night sky. I don't know. You definitely made me a word for him. All the best things are worth waiting for, but you knew that. I wandered over the telescope and ran my hand along the smooth metal. I know you can't take pictures through the scope, but I thought maybe it could serve as an inspiration. It does. I think I want to do some long exposure photography, but I need to find the right section of the sky first. I leaned in to look through the lens. Twinkling constellations filled my view as far as I could see. Noah leaned close to me and rested his hand on mine. Gently, he guided the scope to the west. Or the stars of the zodiac make good photos. Maybe you could do a series. He was right, but it was difficult to focus on his words when I could feel his skin warm against mine, and his breath hot on my ear. I might have pretended I was coming out here for pictures, but mostly I'd come for Noah. But nice, fine. Now, all we have to do is wait. I set up the camera and we sat down beside it. As I looked up at the stars, Noah pulled something out of his backpack. A flask. Are we drinking now? I thought we were on the straight and narrow. Yeah, I promised hot cocoa, and that's all it is. We passed the flask between us, taking sips of the rich drink and letting it warm us to our toes. The stars slowly moved overhead. Nothing better than hot cocoa in the cold, right? His eyes were on the sky, but mine were on him. I don't know, I think I need to be a little bit warmer. All I wanted was to kiss him, and luckily Noah Harris could read my mind. How can I warm you up? If he could read your mind, he would have already knew the answer to that. Next. Your kisses usually get me hot and bothered. The kiss started slow. Noah enjoyed kissing me, but he also enjoyed getting me worked up. And he knew patience wasn't my strongest quality. Hot and bothered you? I nodded, and he kissed me again, slowly increasing the pace. His tongue flicked against my bottom lip, and I bucked my hips. Please. I pressed closer to him, frustrated at the layers between us. I missed how his skin felt on mine, how it sent me into overdrive. Kiss me harder. Yes, ma'am. Then his mouth was on mine, and all I could do was think about his next touch of his hands. Noah pulled me on top of him and ran his hands up my thighs. When we reached my hips, he squeezed. Oh. I kissed him even more passionately, wanting so badly to give in to the heat building under my skin. But as much as I wanted him, I knew it wasn't the time. I broke away, gasping, while Noah looked plenty pleased with himself. I need a breather. I'm not taking any more layers off in this cold. Totally fair, and I wouldn't recommend it. I buttoned up my jacket again and snuggled into his chest. I'm happy just to hold you for however long you want. Good, because I'm planning on cuddling with you until we freeze. But wait, how do we get down? Oh, it just grinned and pulled me closer. Thought you said you trusted me. Ah. At the next photography club meeting, we all headed outside for a day of shooting pictures around the school. Say cheese, Ava. Hell no, find someone else to be your model. Aw, so cold. You're hurting my feelings. Ava, let's grab some shots of the fountain over here. I took Ava's hand and led her away from Elijah, who flashed me a disarming grin that I didn't quite return. Jeez, I can't believe Noah and that creep are related sometimes. What do you mean? 'Cause Noah's such a great guy? Yeah, he's really caring once you get to know him. What happened to being mad at him? Oh, I didn't tell you? We ran into each other while working on the Winter Wonderland a while back, and we talked things out together. So, that's why you've been all busy with Mason too? I glanced over at my best friend. Her shoulders were tense, her mouth molded into a frown. Is something wrong? Ava fiddled with the buttons on her camera. For once, she couldn't look me in the eye. Isn't this technically the second time? The party being the first time? You and the boys sure seem friendly again. Didn't you say you were moving on? I did, but that was before I knew the history. Now I just want things to be better again. Mason and Noah mean a lot to me. I can't just turn my back on them. Ava looked at me, and I couldn't read her expression. So, you still don't know who you want? Something in her voice made me pause. I struggled to explain how I felt. Ava, I don't want to lose either of them. I still need time. This fall, I messed up rushing into things before getting my feelings straight. I don't want to repeat those mistakes. If you don't want to repeat it, why don't you try things out with someone new instead? You don't have to date either of them. There might be someone else out there. I remembered her hand on mine in the car after homecoming, how for just a moment I thought she might kiss me, and that I wanted her too, but I felt so vulnerable and confused. We'd only just started to repair our friendship. Ava, I don't know what to say. I'm still trying to figure things out. Well, maybe you should figure it out soon, before you lose your chance to be with anyone. She stalked off over to the baseball field. I watched her go in a stupor, processing everything she'd just said. In a way, it was the same thing Miss Larson had told me. I was getting dangerously content with the status quo, and I needed to step out of my comfort zone, even if it was scary. As I stood there in her wake, Mackenzie rushed up to me, totally out of breath. Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm ready to be a tomato. Right. Say cheese. When I got home that night, I was dead tired. I should probably change into something fresh. Please? This look is totally perfect. After pulling on a new outfit, I settled on my bed and got comfy. As I looked through the photos I'd taken, I still didn't feel like any of them were up to par. Not good enough. I groaned and flipped through the photographs face down. Mackenzie rushed to make sure they didn't get wrinkled. Hey, I like that one! Well, I don't. The framing is wrong. The colors are... Don't beat yourself up. Whatever you submit for the show doesn't have to be perfect. But, as she glanced over to the next set of pictures, her jaw dropped. Oh my god, Emma? What? What's wrong? Look at the background of the photo you took earlier. I scrutinized the picture and I snapped it to Mackenzie, and at first, it just looked to just be a portrait. In the background behind me, isn't that, Ava? Kissing Bela? As I looked down at the two women kissing in the baseball dugout, my heart dropped right through the floor. That's Ava, all right. I thought rethinking my identity would be painful. But I'd gotten it all wrong. Seeing Ava choose someone else over me, this was 1,000 times worse. Really? Well, here's what's worse, okay? Here's what's worse. Real quick, this is my pro quo. First of all, you know what to do. It's up on the screen. Please do so. Next up is, okay, so Ava is giving us, deep, doo-doo about, you need to pick her before she leaves and all this other crap, and yet, we don't know exactly what happened between the two of them when they were on the dorms together, right? Yeah. Something tells me they got quite close, and then also the fact that, she just gave you a bunch of shit for not, sorting through everything, and yet here she is off kissing Bela. What was she gonna do? Not kiss Bela if we chose her? Yeah. Also, this is Pixelberry's attempt to try and force us into some escalation and confession of our feelings, or who fucking knows. Here's the thing is, Ava deserves someone, okay? She deserves something. She deserves someone who, she clearly wants to be in a relationship with someone. That's kind of a given. And long story short, we don't even know what to do. Seriously, we don't know who we want to be with. And this is where I suggest to anyone who's this, what's the word for him? Confused, to stop and not worry about it. Seriously. If you are this confused on who to be with, and if you have 3 love options and you can't choose one, then you need to focus on your damn schoolwork, girl, and you need to stop worrying about who you're going to hook up with and who you're going to lose your V card to. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace.